On this episode of Cape Media News, we visit a new storefront for a locally made entrepreneur. EforAll has set up shop in Mashpee. The JFK Hyannis Museum is honoring the life of John F. Kennedy Jr. 20 years after his tragic death. Barnstable County entomologist Larry Dapsis teaches kids a lesson in eating bugs. And we'll bring you up close and personal with Cape Cod Baseball League's Hyannis Harbor Hawks. These stories and more. This is Cape Media News. Welcome to Cape Media News, your local authentic newscast for Cape Cod. I'm Sarah Colvin. Summer is in full swing here on Cape Cod. Independence Day is next week. That's right, I said it. And main streets and beaches are full of visitors enjoying this beautiful place. And summertime on Cape Cod, of course, means strong economic growth for our local businesses. And one lucky entrepreneur has just moved into a brick and mortar space thanks to a new partnership between Mashpee Commons and EforAll. That's a mentorship program that provides opportunities for new business owners. Owning a small business can be tough, and without help, it can be nearly impossible to get off the ground. Enter EforAll, a local organization dedicated to bolstering budding entrepreneurs. Since its Cape Cod launch last year, EforAll has mentored dozens of small business startups.
So we help early stage and idea stage entrepreneurs start businesses. At EforAll, we offer kind of two primary services. The first are pitch contests, so kind of like the show Shark Tank. So we host 4 of those each year. We try to space them out around the Cape, so from Falmouth all the way out to P-Town to reach all the folks. But the kind of bread and butter of what we do is a business accelerator program. And so each year, every fall and every spring, we accept 15 entrepreneurs to go through a 1-year-long accelerator program, which kind of helps them take their idea and bring it to reality. So it's a mix of classroom sessions, free office space, and mentorship. So each entrepreneur is connected to a team of 3 mentors that follow them for the course of 1 year.
EforAll is adding a brick and mortar space in Mashpee Commons to its offerings. Program graduate Sarah Mason's Cape Cod Nail Company is the first to set up shop.
Cape Cod Nail Co. is a mobile nail salon, and then you see our product line behind us. So we really wanted to kind of encompass our mobile services in the space. So we're set up as a retail store. And then on the other side of the store, you see kind of like an open concept living room. So we'll be able to host private parties. So when our clients come into the space, it's almost as if they're walking into their own living room or a friend's living room. Our mobile techs are going to be able to come in for pop-up services and things like that.
The 6-month lease, paid for by EforAll, will help Sarah learn more about operating a storefront.
This space was presented as an opportunity through a partnership with EforAll and the Mashpee Commons. EforAll businesses were invited to apply for the space, and then we are using it as a pop-up location. So each business has a 6-month term in the space. So we're here and we're going to try to make it happen.
I mean, ideally, this just gives people the opportunity to kind of get out in front of customers, get more exposure. And many of our entrepreneurs have excellent products and services, but it's just they need to get more eyeballs on them. And what better place than Mashpee Commons, which so much traffic. And so this is a really fantastic opportunity, and thanks to the Commons for doing the deal.
Sarah says the new space will help her show off her Cape Cod-themed polish line and meet new customers, and it already feels like home. Added to that, EforAll has been a huge part of helping her grow her business.
The more I move in, it's just been like a really calming feeling that we kind of have like a home now. Ideally, the space is small, so if I had my own space for the long term, I would definitely need a bigger space to have an office, but just to be able to have a space to come into with all of our product here and kind of everything in one space has been like really, really incredible. The resources and the network that I kind of have been introduced to, my cohort, my mentors, everything has been so amazing.
Oftentimes when people are kind of starting out with their business, typical rent structure is really hard to get into. You have to pay the first, last, deposit. You have to have a lot of cash up front. And so this is allowing folks to kind of get into a space and kind of get the revenue in such that they can grow and get into a traditional rent structure.
EforAll offers free spring and fall accelerator courses for hopeful business owners. You can learn more at EforAll.org. In Mashpee for Cape Media News, I'm Sarah Colvin. EforAll is holding its next pitch contest on July 17th at the Osterville Village Library. The next accelerator program begins this fall. You can learn more at EforAll.org. Coming up next, the life of John F. Kennedy Jr. is remembered at the JFK Hyannis Museum, and later we'll watch as students learn about the fine art of entomophagy.
Do you notice the large influx of cyclists on our roads in the summer? Every year, 4,000 international students choose to make Cape Cod their home for the summer and for the experience of a lifetime. Biking is their main and often only mode of transportation. I'm Kathy Boyle with the MidCape Assembly of God. Our mission is to provide safety equipment to these visitors as well as late-night shuttles to ensure their safe commute to and from work. These university students are future teachers, engineers, and ambassadors. They come to share their cultures with us while contributing to the Cape economy during our busiest season. Unfortunately, they can't realize these dreams if they don't make it home safely. We're asking for donations to purchase bike lights and reflective vests and to fund the nightly shuttles that are imperative to these students' safety. Please visit midcapej1housing.org or email j1latebus@gmail.com to learn how you can contribute. Please help us ensure that these future world leaders have a fun and safe summer in our community.
Welcome back to Cape Media News. In July of 1999, a plane piloted by John F. Kennedy Jr. went down in the waters off Martha's Vineyard. 20 years later, the JFK Hyannis Museum is remembering his life with a special exhibit. Cape Media News was there for the opening. Born just 2 weeks after his father was elected president, John F. Kennedy Jr. spent his young years in the White House and led a life in the public eye. He is the subject of a new exhibit at the John F. Kennedy Hyannis Museum. That exhibit opened on June 17, 2019, with a special ceremony held at the museum.
We knew that we were approaching the 20th anniversary of the passing of John F. Kennedy Jr. and thought that visitors would be very interested in learning more about him.
The museum exhibit here, it's in some ways captivating because it brings you right back to the days and the remembrances, and for myself in many ways being a part of the fun and so forth that the Kennedys had here on the Cape.
On July 16, 1999, the plane Kennedy Jr. was piloting went down in the waters off Martha's Vineyard. In the days following the tragic accident, reporters and mourners flocked to Cape Cod. The museum served as a hub for those looking for information and comfort.
It was kind of bedlam. Throughout, Hyannis Port was just backed bumper to bumper with meter trucks from all over the country and a few from outside of the country. Reporters and, onlookers, it just went on and on. And here at the museum, we were so proud, really, that we had a place that people could go to. We let people come in at no cost. We felt it was important to give people a place to connect with him, to mourn, to pay their respects, and they did it by the thousands.
20 years later, the museum's exhibit gives visitors a look inside John F. Kennedy Jr.'s life, here on the Cape and all over the world. Rarely seen photographs including a young John in the White House playing on Cape Cod, his wedding to Carolyn Bessette. Copies of his magazine, George, and other artifacts tell a story of a short life well spent.
It's important for our visitors to see that there was so much depth to him. Yes, he was so handsome. Yes, he was, had an incredible fame. But he also did so many good works. He cared so much about especially people with disabilities and people that had experienced hardships. And he gave of himself, his time, his talent, and committed himself to many of the programs that he developed and that he became involved in. And then the development of George. George was a big deal to him, and it was quite the magazine. And he wrote editorials every issue. He did a lot of the interviews, and he, of course, attracted some of the biggest celebrities and political celebrities in the world. Those are stories that we want to share. We want people to know that he was quite the man.
He lived up to the mantra of his father, that each of us can make a difference and all of us must try. And it must be said that to the degree that a purpose of life is to live a life of love and purpose, the love that he gave to his family and they gave back, that's an important legacy.
The fact is that when we look at the legacy, the details of this exhibit will certainly send some of those important family, Cape Cod love, and world recognition in a very subtle way, and one that isn't portrayed in a sense of bravado, but just really being where they wanted to be.
And if you want to look and remember the happy times and the rest, you focus on one picture, the grief-stricken nation that the salute to his fallen father, and as a 3-year-old, that evokes a whole different kind of memory. But that's the beauty of this exhibit. And, in many ways, the joys and the triumphs are very much a part of the Kennedy legacy, and the tragedies, of course, an important part of that story as well.
Cape Cod Remembers JFK Jr. is on display now at the JFK Hyannis Museum. In Hyannis, for Cape Media News, I'm Sarah Colvin. You can visit the JFK Hyannis Museum on beautiful Main Street in Hyannis. Down the road in Osterville, a long empty lot has blossomed into a beautiful and delicious space. AMIE Bakery's new building is not only a home for tasty treats, it's also a teaching academy. Gabrielle Rawson paid a visit to the newly opened bakery to learn more.
Gelato, pastries, cakes, cookies, and tarts. These are just some of the sweet treats cooking up at AMIE's Bakery and Academy at its brand new location in Osterville.
This building was 2 years to plan and 1 year basically to construct. We had started downtown and our kitchen was very small. And we were in an old building and there were a lot of limitations to what we could do. We're able to do a lot more here. Our kitchen can accommodate more students and we can do more things.
With a larger kitchen, AMIE can offer a more diverse range of classes, like baking boot camp or bagel making and cake decorating. Her goal is to teach people that anyone can bake.
Our mission here has been from day one to really bring back the bakery from yesteryear, if you will. I was very nostalgic for the baked goods that I had growing up. I grew up in New Jersey. We had great bakeries. When we would go to a relative's house, we would always have really wonderful things from the local bakery. When I went to pastry school and I started making things in class, I was like, wow, you don't find this anywhere. There's a lot of mass-produced things, and I was like, when they taste this, they're going to want to have this more. And I want people to understand how simple it is to make something. Baking has this mystique around it. It's really not that complicated.
And AMIE's classes aren't just for adults. She also teaches kids.
I have a lot of young bakers coming to the academy. This is a chance for people to come together and really learn the art of baking, and to, if they're not passionate about it already, they become passionate about it. That's what the academy is for here, to help people really discover their passion for baking or to continue firing up that passion for baking, and it's a great community activity.
And that community is important to AMIE. She's hoping her bakery will strengthen Osterville's local economy.
I feel, maybe I'm biased, that it's a unique space that we will draw people to Osterville. Maybe they didn't know about Osterville, or they don't really spend a lot of time in Osterville. We have wonderful, wonderful shops here, and I think that this could be a really good draw for people to come and shop in Osterville. Food brings people together, right? And when you're in a nice setting, you're having good food, there's a commonality, everybody can come together over food and drink, right? So this is another place for people to do that.
AMIE Bakery opened its doors at 1254 Main Street on June 10th in Osterville. For Cape Media News, I'm Gabrielle Rawson.
AMIE Bakery can be found at 1254 Main Street in Osterville. Up next, we're still talking about food, but a very different kind of tasty treat.
In the Yarmouth port along Route 6A, known as one of the most beautiful roads in America, there's a little-known secret, a special building. I'm Mariana Gresti, representing the Yarmouth New Church Preservation Foundation. Since 1998, a non-religious group of local citizens have been restoring this former church building and have reopened its doors as a community center for visual and performing arts. The original details, including the stained glass windows, the tracker organ, the cast iron bell, and the recently restored ceiling paintings, are considered some of the best examples of American Gothic architecture in Massachusetts. In the audience room, we host local and visiting musicians and performers, even local school groups. In our great room gallery, we hold receptions and display fine art. If you are interested in performing in our authentic historic space with its amazing acoustics, or want to help us with preservation and planning through volunteering, please go to our website at yarmouthportcommon.org. Just click on Contact and let us know. Remember to check out our calendar for this coming season of events. We look forward to seeing you at the Bell Tower on Yarmouth Port Common. Thank you very much.
Barnstable County entomologist Larry Dapsis is best known for his TikToks. He travels the region educating our community on the best way to avoid their bite. But he's also got his eyes on sustainable food, and he thinks bugs might just be a key player. Kids always like when they get treats in the classroom, but when the treats are bugs, it's a different story.
Sour cream and onions is like nothing. Try a cheddar cheese.
Barnstable County entomologist Larry Dapsis paid a visit to Julia Randall's 6th grade class at Monomoy Regional Middle School in June to talk about the fine art of entomophagy, or eating bugs.
It was Larry's idea to bring this exciting topic to my students because he's been here a couple of times he did a TikTok and he did an evolutionary biology talk, and he had done this with older kids, and he just thought maybe these kids would be interested, and I really wasn't sure. I know they'll eat, but I wasn't sure whether they would eat the bugs, but they were into it.
Larry says teaching kids about edible insects is a way to help them learn about sustainable farming and sustainable food sources.
There are so many different parts to this. I mean, talking about nutrition and sustainability, you know, how to grow more food more efficiently for a growing population. Students at this age level are just so much more receptive to thinking about how we should be looking at the world, including, you know, foods, sustaining us going forward.
The kids got to sample curry, sour cream and onion, and other crunchy bugs, and surprisingly, they really enjoyed this different kind of treat.
That is good.
And did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Did you think it was nutritious?
Yes.
Will you do it again?
Yes.
It tasted dryish, and then it had an aftertaste after it.
I thought it was going to be bad, but it was amazing.
Yeah, they were good. I had 2 of them. I had the cheddar mealworm and the Mexican spice cricket. The texture was like weird because it's a bug, but
what did you like the most about today's class?
Eating bugs.
I've done this type of workshop for adult stage, you know, people, and it's interesting, but does anybody reach for that, you know, chocolate chip or sour cream and onion cricket? No. But I don't think there was a student here that did not try something. In fact, they all wanted more.
I would say this was more about just broadening their horizons a little bit and having them try something new.
And the kids and the teacher agree.
We ate bugs. They taste good.
Bugs are delicious.
Bugs can be delicious.
Dapsis is hoping to tour schools across Cape Cod, educating our youth about the benefits of eating bugs. In Chatham, for Cape Media News, I'm Sarah Colvin. And for the record, I did try a cheddar cheese flavored bug. Thanks to Larry and the students for that opportunity. The Cape Cod Baseball League is back, and Cape Media News is pleased to welcome our new sports reporter, Tyler Allen, with this piece on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks.
The Cape Cod Baseball League is back today. We are at McKeon Park, home of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. We talked with a few of the players who shared their thoughts on the league, what they expect from the summer season, and their approach moving forward in their baseball careers.
Chad McDaniel, I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I attend the University of Missouri.
Anthony Servideo, I'm from Jupiter, Florida, and I go to Ole Miss.
Brooks Carlson, I attend Stanford University, and I'm from Mobile, Alabama.
Summer ball was about to start, asking if I could come play for the Harbor Hawks, and I think Coach Gaspin texted me, and it's just been a blast being up here.
You do a lot about yourself as a player. You know, you're going against every Friday night guy and Saturday and Sunday night guy in the country. So going up against the best it's been a lot of fun, and yeah, it's awesome to compete against them. I've heard a lot about the Cape. You know, it's tough, but people come out better ball players after the Cape. So hearing that, I was really looking forward to getting up here, and so far I've had a blast. So I'm looking forward for the rest of the summer.
Everybody knows the talent that's around here, and everybody likes to come from around the country and come watch and play. So this is the league that you want to be in when you're playing summer ball in college. I got Coach Polk, our assistant coach, gave me the opportunity last year and asked me if I wanted to play with them this year. And I've got to know a lot more about it throughout this past year, and was looking forward to it, and here I am.
We had a moment to speak with field manager Chad Gassman about his time with the Harbor Hawks.
This is my 11th year as a field manager, 12th year total.
We asked Coach Gassman about the history of the Harbor Hawks and how the Cape League is different from other developmental leagues in the United States.
Jackie Bradley Jr. Is one of the big names that's played here. Sean Mania, Kyle Freeland, Dakota Hudson, who just pitched last night. So I think the biggest thing over the last 12 years that I've noticed is just the pitching regulations. You know, coaches shut guys down a little bit earlier, so the pitch counts have gotten lower. So just juggling different pitching dynamics has been the biggest difference I've noticed. Well, we got more players coming in from Omaha, so I expect good things.
The Harbor Hawks won their first game of the season, beating the Harwich Mariners 7-2. In Hyannis for Cape Media News, I'm Tyler Allen.
You can find out about all things Cape League at capecodbaseball.org, and stay tuned to Channel 99 for live broadcasts of some of the games. That brings this week's episode of Cape Media News to a close. Thank you all so much for your viewership and support. I can't tell you enough what that means to me. Please follow us on Facebook, Cape Media News, and tune in every Friday at 5:30 for a brand new show. We'll be back next week with more. For Cape Media News, I'm Sarah Colvin.